Made with layers of hearty meat sauce, creamy ricotta filling, gooey cheese, and tender pasta, Instant Pot Lasagna comes together fast while still delivering the classic flavors. Hi Mindful Moms and Dads, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. My all-time favorite comfort food recipe is lasagna. But let's be honest, lasagna is a labor of love. Not so with the Instant Pot. We can have the classic flavors of lasagna in record time using our Instant Pot. So let's put on our kitchen capes and make the fastest, tastiest lasagna ever. I'm gonna start this recipe by hitting saute on my inner pot and adding in about a teaspoon or two of oil to the inner pot and letting that heat. I'm adding a half a pound of ground Italian sausage to my lasagna today, so I wanna brown that up in my Instant Pot here. You can use ground beef, you could use ground turkey, or you could omit the meat completely. My oil's heated, so I'm gonna add in my sausage. Again, I'm just using a half a pound. We're making a smaller lasagna to fit inside the inner pot. I'm also adding in about 1/4 cup of minced onion, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. We're gonna saute our meat for just a couple minutes, breaking it up as it cooks. Once my meat is just about browned, I'm adding in about 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. That's a lot of garlic, you can certainly use less. And I don't recommend adding the garlic in when you add the onion and the other seasoning because garlic can burn really quickly and nothing's worse than burnt garlic. Okay, our meat is nice and brown. I'm gonna turn my Instant Pot off now and then I'm gonna remove the meat and place it into a bowl. I'm gonna add in 1½ cups of water into my inner pot, and then I'm gonna use that spatula to scrape up any brown bits on the bottom of the inner pot so we don't have a burn notice. Add in your inner rack. That way we can put our lasagna right on our rack and do what's called pot and pot cooking. And now to make our filling for our lasagna. I'm using 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. You can certainly use cottage cheese if that's what your family prefers. To the ricotta, I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Feel free to omit the pepper flakes if you have sensitive palates. I'm also adding in 1/3 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Freshly grated cheese is always best. And 1 egg that's been beaten. Give that a mix until everything is nice and incorporated. And now to assemble our lasagna. You need either a 7x3 or a 7x4-inch cake pan or springform pan. You can use a cake pan or you can use a springform pan like I am today for dramatic presentation. Just make sure your springform pan has a good seal so that your lasagna doesn't leak. Start by spreading a layer of your favorite jarred or homemade spaghetti sauce on the bottom of the pan. For your noodles, I prefer oven-ready noodles. I've had people tell me they've used regular noodles without any need to parboil, but I've had better success using a box of noodles labeled oven ready. They come in sheets or they come classically shaped. And then you just want to break your noodle up to fit over the bottom of your pan. Top the noodles with half the ricotta cheese mixture, sprinkle with half the meat and onion mixture, cover that with a layer of marinara sauce, and then sprinkle with a light layer of shredded mozzarella cheese. Add another layer of the lasagna noodles, breaking to fit, top with the remaining ricotta cheese mixture, and then sprinkle with the remaining meat mixture. Top with another layer of tomato sauce, and then sprinkle with another light layer of mozzarella cheese. Add the final layer of lasagna noodles, breaking to fit again, and then top with a generous layer of tomato sauce, and then cover with mozzarella cheese and some additional freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Now I recommend covering your lasagna with foil so that condensation doesn't drip into it. However, if you're opposed to using foil, I have made this without foil and it does work. If you cover with foil, I do recommend giving a light drizzle of olive oil over the cheese so that the foil doesn't stick to the cheese. And then we're gonna place our lasagna into our inner pot right on top of that rack. Pop the lid on our Instant Pot. Make sure the vent knob is pointed towards sealed, and now to set cooking time. If your lasagna is covered with foil, you're going to cook for 27 minutes on high pressure, and if it's not covered with foil, you're gonna cook for 22 minutes on high pressure. Again, you're gonna hit manual or pressure cook, and then you're gonna use the plus or minus buttons to adjust to either 22 minutes or 27 minutes. Once the cooking time has elapsed, let pressure release naturally for at least 10 minutes. And then you want to open up your Instant Pot, carefully remove your metal rack and place it on a baking sheet. And then you want to remove your foil. Now, if there's any moisture that's formed on top of the lasagna, which will happen if you did not use foil, use a paper towel to gently dab off that moisture. To get the golden brown topping that we all love on lasagna, you have a couple options. If you have an air fryer lid for your Instant Pot, you can use that, set to 360 degrees, and let it air fry for about 5 minutes or until golden. If you don't have an air fryer lid, turn your oven to broil and then place your lasagna underneath the broiler for about 3 to 5 minutes, just until golden brown. Just like traditional lasagna, it's best to let your lasagna sit for 15 minutes before you cut into it, and that'll give the lasagna time to set up and it won't be runny when cut. Since I used a springform pan, I'm gonna remove the sides. Just look at those layers. See what I mean for dramatic presentation? It's totally not necessary, but oh, is it a showstopper. Then slice up and serve. Seriously, this is one of my all-time favorites. And you know what is another classic recipe that you'll love? Instant Pot meatloaf and mashed potatoes. And I'll show you how to make that in my next video. Until